we went through like a very dark period in 2022, and I think that we were very close to quitting, and basically giving up and shuttering the channel. And then Richie and I kind of looked at each other and say, you know what? Why don't we just give this short form content thing a try?
Welcome to the Character Sheet, your home for all things tabletop and fantasy news. And today we have a very special guest. You may know him from Legends of Avantris. You might know him as Chuckles the Clown from many of the favorite shorts you've seen, but he is the one and only Mikey Gilder, CCO and cast member of Legends of Avantris. And today we're here to talk about Avantris and, of course, their huge The Crooked Moon RPG Kickstarter, which is coming out in the very near future. Mikey, so nice to finally get you in the studio.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Pete. I've been watching your videos, so it's great to finally meet you and say hi and hello to everyone watching at home. Appreciate you having me on.
And now for those, like we said, we've done a couple of videos on Legends of Avantris. It's become one of our very favorite actual plays to watch. For anyone that somehow has not seen it yet, what is the genesis? Like, when did you guys realize that your home game could in fact become like not just a product you put out on YouTube, but at this point now a career? Like, how did that start?
It's very funny because we really only started streaming because two of our members in our original campaign, Andy and Kelsey, they moved to Brooklyn. And so we did a full big setup because we didn't want to go full remote because we like being around the table. So we did a hybrid. And then we needed the cameras, we needed microphones, we needed lighting, we needed all of that so everyone could see. And we realized, oh, we could literally punch this live. And so we did YouTube, no, not YouTube. We did Facebook. We did Facebook Lives first, back, maybe that's still a thing, back when that was a thing. And we switched to Twitch the next year. And frankly, as a DM, like I just liked it because it meant I got to play D&D every week. Originally, I never really had any kind of grand dreams of it turning into this. Richie, my twin brother, he's also on the stream, and our CEO, he had kind of grand dreams from the beginning. But yeah, it really just started as a way for us to have friends who had originally played at the table to all play virtually, and we just happened to start streaming, and we streamed for 5 years with no audience, and then in 2022, that's kind of when things started taking off.
And yeah, and I kind of around that time, you guys started being one of the first, and still to this day, kind of one of the only big actual plays that decided to do a big focus on short form content, on shorts, on TikTok, on Instagram. Like, did you guys have a conscious decision to do that, or was it just sort of a happy accident for you?
Yeah, we did. I think that we resisted so long, frankly, just because we were being lazy about it. Like, I think that it just, we all had day jobs and we were just like tired and we're like, it'll never do anything. And then I think that we went through like a very dark period in 2022. And I think that we were very close to quitting, and basically giving up and shuttering the channel. And then Richie and I kind of looked at each other and say, you know what, why don't we just give this short form content thing a try? And so we sacrificed our summer. And so every waking hour where we weren't doing our day jobs, we didn't go to the beach, we didn't do any travel during summer, we really didn't go outside. We just were editing shorts and editing shorts and editing shorts. And, you first start putting them out, you don't really get anything. And then suddenly one gets 1,000 views, and then the next one gets a couple thousand views. And then it just, builds and builds, and it just kept growing.
That's awesome. And then you guys have started a trend of you're juggling at this point like 5 or 6 active campaigns, like back and forth. How do you guys decide not only like which campaigns to pick up when, but kind of like which different systems to try out? Because I know, for example, right now, one of the ones that you're doing a lot of is Uprooted, which is like the Root role-playing system. Like, how did you guys pick the Root system?
So we actually for Uprooted, we actually converted that into D&D 5e. So originally we had gotten a sponsorship from Magpie to play the Root RPG. We had a really great time, and we decided, and we it was 9 episodes. It was a ton of fun, and we realized that the characters were so fun, and the world that I had created for it was so fun that we should get back to it. And so we decided, we'll get back to it. And like you said, the learning a new system is challenging, and we kind of had a big party. So we said, you know what? Everyone knows D&D 5e. Let's do that. But when it comes to like new systems that we wanted to learn and try, I think the big one, the big system that we've really been picking up and learning has been Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay by Cubicle 7.
Yes.
And that is our Monday Patreon game currently. We first started playing that just, we goofed around, at a home game for like a couple of sessions. Not sure if we would ever bring it, on camera. And just because, I'm a huge fan of the Warhammer fantasy world. And we were really kind of feeling a really crunchy game, and that was the game that we got really excited about. And then so Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay is a system that we really, really, really love. And then Pirate Borg by Limithron is
the board game's so good.
Oh, yeah, we fell in love. I played Pirate Borg for the first time PAX 2021. No, 2022, I guess. And I fell in love with it immediately. And so we brought Pirate Borg onto our stream, and we actually created our own Borg hack, currently called 13 Beers at the Local Cheese. A bit of an in-joke. And so we're actually going to be playing that this Wednesday. So we just fell in love with the Borg likes, and we fell in love with Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. And so, and we've gotten to the point where we've been playing so much D&D 5e that it's, I love the game. I love D&D 5e, but we play so much tabletop. I want to start adding, I'd love to get a little bit of Cyberpunk Red, a little bit of Call of Cthulhu and other systems in there. So it's really whatever we think is cool, the theme and the mechanics kind of combined.
That's awesome. At what point during this journey of doing all these actual plays, doing all these different campaigns, did you guys decide that it was time to put out something like the Crooked Moon? Like, what was the origin story of how you decide, I've been homebrewing all these other campaigns. It's time for me to put that out in the world as the Crooked Moon.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really interesting story that was kind of a long, winding journey. When Richie and I first graduated college, we thought about getting into the board game industry, and then we had a very sobering call with a pretty prolific designer in the industry who was amazing. And he kind of said, this industry is really hard. Don't do it yet. Like, go get some experience first, and then you can come back to the game publishing industry, because it can be really brutal. And we were like, you know what? You're right. We got desk jobs. And then obviously years later, we had the stream. And so it had always been our dream to make games. And I think that once, in 2023, we had built up an audience, of maybe 200, 150, 200,000. We thought, like, let's start small. Let's just do a little Kickstarter. We wanted to, dip our toes in, cut our teeth. And then Richie asked me, I was working on something, a Kickstarter campaign. It was way too big. Richie's like, whoa, for our first Kickstarter, let's do something small. Let's refocus, go, let's do this. And I'm like, oh, maybe we can do a horror thing instead. And so I started thinking, and the Crooked Moon came to be, and it ended up being vastly bigger than the original thing that already got scrapped for being too big. And we just kind of, with all of the resources and the research that we did, we realized, oh my gosh, A, this is way more work than we thought it was going to be. But B, we can actually do this. And so that's how when we realized, like, hey, like, let's try to launch a publishing company. And here we are.
Yeah, and this small little Kickstarter turned into, I believe, either the first or second highest grossing 5e supplement ever released on the Kickstarter platform.
Yeah, amazing.
Coming in over 4 million funded.
Yeah, very grateful for all of the support. And it was an extremely surreal month. I think I actually forgot a lot of what happened that October.
Is there because there's so many interesting things. Actually, before I ask this, what is the synopsis of, like, what is the flavor and, like, the essence of the Crooked Moon for someone who has not seen the Kickstarter yet? They've somehow fallen asleep for a year and a half and just haven't seen it. For
sure. Yeah, so I think that one of the main reasons why we went into this is because one of my favorite genres in film, especially, but across the board, is folk horror. And folk horror is very underserved. The classic film examples that I think folks think of is The Wicker Man, not the Nick Cage one, the one starring Christopher Lee as Lord. Yeah, not the bees, and then the bear suit punching people. Not that one, the original. The Witch with Black Phillip, the goat, and Midsummer. Those are kind of the three that most people would probably know as, like, quintessential folk horror. And not only is that my favorite genre, it's also was super underserved as far as I kind of as a big fan of folk horror. There's a lot of grimdark, there's a lot of gothic, there's a lot of post-apocalyptic, there's a lot of cosmic horror in tabletop, but I really found folk horror really missing. And so it was very obvious. And so basically the idea of folk horror is that it's not, your intense jump scare. It's not the whole world is coming to an end. It's much more of a slowly unsettling sense of dread, where the landscape and the environment and the natural world is as much of a character and as much as of a villain, perhaps, as the creatures and the people that lurk there. It's about isolated communities, ancient superstitions, the conflict between the old and the new, the effect of local legends and folklore that thought perhaps wasn't real actually coming to be true, and also usually in folk horror, there's someone who's very arrogant, usually from the city, usually from modernity,
Mm.
who believes that they've achieved some sort of enlightenment, and they're not prepared to face the old ways. And they encounter the old ways, they're isolated and alone, and it usually leads to a bad end. And those stories were so gripping to me that I thought, like, could we do this in D&D, game of heroic fantasy? And I think we've achieved that. It was much harder than I thought, but I think that we've done the best we could to strike the balance between a system made for heroic fantasy and achieving folk horror the best we can.
No, that's fantastic. And in creating that, is there a particular like subclass or spell you've made that really stands out, like one of your favorites, or maybe even the one that just sort of took the longest for you to like quote you kind of get right in your mind?
Yeah, I think one of the things that was pretty difficult to crack, and my favorite subclasses are Harvest Cleric.
Yeah.
And really making sure of what does a harvest cleric mean? Because we already have a nature cleric in 5e, right? So this is not a nature cleric. And so really kind of realizing that this isn't like the good naturey, like let's all heal. Okay, that's part of it, but it's about life, death, and rebirth. And that's a critical part of the cycle, that things must die for things to be reborn. And so weaving that into, I think a lot of people have like the misconception that clerics are all like lawful good and they're all super benevolent. And so I think it was really fun to have a cleric where you could play, focus on the life side of it, but you could also play one that is fully the reaper, that is coming to take and to kill and to destroy in order so that things may grow. And so the harvest cleric, I think, was my favorite for sure.
Yeah, that's, oh man. And then is there and like trying, because you guys have made so many interesting add-ons and so many cool different versions of the Crooked Moon for people to check out in the Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a particular like piece of like merch or a figure or just a book cover that you made that really stands out as like, this is something you're super happy that it turned out the way it did and the fans are going to see?
I mean, I think that one of the things was the biggest surprise. I mean, we have a lot of different products. We had, I think there's 13 or 14 sets of dice. We have these huge miniatures, and all of that ended up being, we really focused on quality. We really invested to make sure that this was the highest quality product we could possibly get it to, not just the content, but also all the supplemental materials. We went with Panda, which is one of the premier board game and game manufacturers in the world, and they've been amazing. And I think all of that's really good. I think the product or the supplementary product that I'm really proud of, that I'm the most proud of, is actually the music. And the music albums are we're releasing 3 albums. One, we have our classic atmospheric album, classic combat album, but one that is a very much of an experiment is our soundtrack. It's basically a concept album that serves as the soundtrack of the adventure. And we actually just announced yesterday that one of the songs, our next single, Ramin Karimloo, who is my personal favorite Phantom of the Opera, and he was also in Les Miserables as Enjolras and Jean Valjean, and a bunch of other great roles. He's in the Anastasia. He's had a role in the Anastasia as well. He's going to be the featured vocalist on that. And so it's been amazing to work with the Blasting Company, the folks behind the Over the Garden Wall soundtrack. And we have some really awesome guest singers on this thing. And it's been surreal to take the themes and the concepts and the story of the Crooked Moon and translate that into music. So people have been loving it so far. So that's my favorite. That's my favorite supplementary piece. And I don't know if you want me to talk about it, something physical, like a little goodie they can buy.
No, that's actually perfect. I was going to ask a question about the music, and we went right into it. I didn't know that it was some of that was by the people behind Over the Garden Wall, because that's an amazing both show and an amazing musical composition.
That's all them. They've composed the entire thing. I actually have a call with them right after this interview's over, and so they've been incredible collaborative partners for, oh my gosh, since 2023, like. April or May 2023. So we've been working with them for a very long time, and it's been an amazing relationship.
Oh, that's fantastic. And if you like the music of Legends of Avantris, stay tuned to the channel, because there might be a thing coming in a week or two here. Something.
Awesome.
Keep your eyes peeled. and your ears peeled. And then I guess before we dive into the lightning round,
Yeah.
because it sort of ties into the lightning round, he has so many dark origin stories. It's time to ask the hard journalistic question. What is the true dark origin story of Chuckles?
I think that there really is no true origin. I think that there's two answers. I think there is no true dark origin, or that the origin is so sad and pathetic and mundane that everyone would be cripplingly disappointed. Everyone would be egregiously disappointed, I think, if they heard the tragic backstory. And I think that it's one of those things where Chuckles is one of those timeline setting breaking characters where he's in space, he's in the carnival, he's in the crooked moon. Chuckles is everywhere. And I think that is, how many backstories can one clown have? I think it's probably infinite. So that's my measured political answer.
All right. Well, that leads us perfectly into our lightning round.
Awesome.
And today's lightning round, very fittingly, because of Chuckles, is going to be a simple game of clown or Cosa Nostra.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a name, and you're just going to have to tell me if that name is the name of a clown or a member of an organized crime family.
I love it. My people are in part from Sicily, so this is very close to my heart for clowns and Cosa Nostra.
All right. So first off,
yeah.
Bim Bom.
Bim Bom. That's got to be a clown.
Bim Bom is, in fact, one of the premier Russian clowns.
Okay. Got it.
There we go. Let's go with Junior Lollipops.
Oh, that's a mobster. Definitely.
It is a mobster.
Okay. Yeah.
Crazy crime. Yeah, crazy crime family.
Yeah.
Let's go with Louis Haha.
That is a mobster.
It is another mobster.
Yeah,
Same crime family.
For sure. Yeah.
Let's go with Dodo the Clown Delwyn.
That's a mobster. Yep.
Actually, a clown.
Oh, wow.
Wow. The name.
Okay. You got me. I was going to say, this is where you're going to throw me out because he literally says he's a clown. There's no, he's actually a clown. Well done.
And we got Pinto Colvig.
Pinto Colvig. That sounds like a mobster.
Pinto Colvig is a clown and weirdly the guy who became the official voice of Goofy for Disney.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
A lot of strange research went into this one.
Yeah.
Let's go with Johnny Sausage.
Okay. I know I've been saying mobster.
Mobster. He is, in fact, a mobster.
Okay. Good.
Known because he is named John and he loves sausages.
I mean, same.
There's one of my personal favorites, Butter Ass. Just Butter Ass.
Butter Ass has got to be a clown.
Butter Ass is the name of a mobster.
What? Okay.
It's like Tony Butterass.
I am letting my people, my clowns, and my Italians down. This right. I gotta go back into the training.
Don't worry, we're more than halfway through. We're getting
got it.
Yeah. Oh, well, this one's a classic. Violent J.
Violent J. I could imagine that being a violent clown. A clown. I'm saying clown.
It is. He is one of the two members of the Insane Clown Posse.
Okay, got it. Despite being the clown guy, I'm not a juggalo. I'm sorry to disappoint.
Listen, that's if anything, that's a point in your favor.
Okay, got it.
Let's see. We got 4 left. Let's go with Kefka Palazzo.
Kefka, that is a clown. I know that.
That's Final Fantasy VI's main villain. And these. Here's a tough. These are 2 back-to-back ones that are hilarious. First up, Quack Quack.
Quack Quack. I'm going to say that is a clown.
That is a mobster.
Dang it.
And then followed by a completely different person, Tony Ducks.
That's a clown.
Tony Ducks is a mobster who may be implicated in the death of the mobster known as Quack Quack, which is a fun fact.
That's why they called him Ducks?
No, he had the nickname before he may or may not have killed Quack Quack.
They were fated to meet each other.
They're fated to meet. All right, final 2. Mr. Magic.
I'm going to say mobster. I'm doing terribly.
Listen, I mean, these are tough. That is the clown from Sailor Moon. It's called Mr. Magic.
Oh, my gosh. I forgot. It's been so long.
And finally, regardless of who he belongs to, maybe the least impressive nickname on here, Joseph Joey Grimaldi.
That's a mobster. That's a clown. I'm going to be very impressed.
He is a clown. He is the
Oh
clown
my God.
credited for inventing the white face style of clown.
Oh, okay. I think I got almost all of those wrong. So well done, Pete. I really
Listen, I think you cracked the 50% mark, which is rare.
okay.
I think you
Okay.
did pretty good.
I think you have exposed me as a hack imposter clown. So I
All right.
appreciate you doing this live on YouTube.
All right, guys, Mikey, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone,
Thank you.
please go check out the Legend of Avantris on their YouTube channel. Check out the shorts. Go over to Kickstarter Backer Kit. Check out Crooked Moon, because the Crooked Moon has some amazing components. It's got some amazing rules, some fantastic lore. Go check it out. And of course, stick around for all things fantasy and TTRPG. And we'll be back with another video tomorrow. And we'll see you guys later. Stay safe, everybody.
See you guys. Thanks for having me.